Hey guys, it's Dan with Outdoor Survival, and today I'm going to be going over my opinion on knives and some criterias I think that a knife should have, so stay with me. Alrighty, and I just grabbed a few of my knives, and these are the knives that I'm going to go over today. Alright, so let's start with down here on this end. I don't know what you would call these, it's just a little knife. I don't know what it's made out of. I think it's made out of stainless steel. And my favorite kind of steel is 1095 carbon steel. But it's got the hollowed handle, so where you can screw this off and hide stuff in. And normally I'd keep like fishing gear or something in there. But I don't necessarily like these after using a bunch of different knives and getting the feel for a bunch of different knives. The reason being is because this is, for one, it's not a full tang knife. Most of these kind of knives are just held in by a bolt right up here, and if I'm gonna risk my life on a knife, I want it to be full tang, so I know it's not gonna break off inside the handle or the bolt come loose after a little bit of abuse. And majority of all the compasses back here on this are not accurate whatsoever, so I tend to not even try to rely on those. And the next one I want to look at is a Mosley Oak. This is also stainless steel, if I believe correctly, and it's a little dirty. I've used it quite a bit, but it's a pretty thick blade. I think it's about, let's see here, the whole entire length is about 1.5 inches, or the width anyways, and then the length is about 4 inches. And I want my blade length to be at least 4 inches, nothing less. The very minimum is 4 inches. And I mean, it's okay. It's not good at all for trying to do woodwork, but if you're skinning an animal, it's really good for that. It's even got the little hook right here. You can open up the cavity, and it helps a lot for that. You can also cut fishing line really easy, etc. So these are okay. I mean, it is at least full tang, so that is a plus. And it's got a nice little 90-degree spine right here, so that's also a plus. And now I'm gonna go over what I think is one of the best secondary kind of knives. And what I mean by secondary is I would have a primary knife that I know I can risk my life on and it will carry me through. And then I'll have a secondary that's better for woodworking, stuff like that. And the best secondary knives that I have found are the Moras. And I'm sure you've heard hundreds of people talking about them, but I just got 3 of them. I got a lot more, but these are just 3 that I want to go over. Alright, I got this, and they are all high carbon steel. And the reason that I choose high carbon steel is because in an emergency situation, I could take a very hard rock, I think it's the hardness of 6, like quartz, flint, and so on, and you can smack it on the back of your knife and it can produce sparks in an emergency situation. I wouldn't do that as an everyday thing because it does damage the back of your blade, but in an emergency situation that will work. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see how thick this blade is. Let's see here. Looks like it's about 1 millimeter thick. Yeah, that's about what it looks like. And I really like these because they hold their edge really good. They're really good at fine carving. But I got this orange handled one. I don't know the names of each specific one, and then I got a little bit of a thicker blade one right here with a different color. And the thickness on this is, oh, actually it's about the same, so they're actually the same thickness. And the blade on both of these is about 3.5 inches long, so just right under a criteria that I would consider a good knife. But as a secondary knife, that's good. And then this one I think is one of my best ones. It's got a lot thicker blade. Let's see here, and it is about 3 millimeters thick, so it's 3 times thicker than the other one, and the blade length is 3.5. I really like this one, and all the Moras are really good for fine carving. And then I also have one from Fenhock, and it's got a really good grip on it. The whole entire handle is made out of rubber, and it's actually, you got to put some strength behind it just to get the blade out, which is, I like that. And this is 4116 German steel is what it says. I think this is actually stainless steel if I'm not mistaken, but this is a very good blade. You can kind of see I've used it quite a bit. And let's see the thickness on this. That's about 2 millimeters thick, and it's 4 inches long. So this could be the bare minimum of a good knife, but the only problem with all of these knives right here, the Moras and this Fenhock, is they're all rat tail tang, which rat tail tang means basically it comes to right here, and then the blade pretty much goes into a rat tail, and it's not a full tang knife. Alrighty, and then the last 2 knives that I want to talk about are knives that meet my overall knife criteria, which is knives that I can base my life on if need be. And I'll show you one. This is called an old timer. It looks exactly like a Bowie knife. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is, but it's made out of stainless steel, and that's the only thing that does not meet the criteria of a good knife, or what I prefer in a knife. But it has a good 90-degree spine, it's full tang, it's even got a little lanyard hold. And let's see what the measurements of this blade is. Right here at the very base, it's about 1.5 inches thickness. At the thickest part, it's about 2 inches. And then the overall length is 10 inches. So that's a very thick blade. And now this, oh, and also the blade thickness is about, yeah, it's about 2 centimeters. And then this is a knife that meets all my criterias. It's high carbon steel. It's got a 90-degree spine. It's full tang. And as a bonus, it even has this little finger hold for carving, fine carving. So it has the potential to be fine carving. Let's see here. The thickness of the blade is almost at 1/4 of an inch, which is a very good thickness. The length of the blade itself is right at 7.5, and the width of the blade is about 1.5 inches. And the criterias of a very good knife to me is the length of the blade needs to be at a minimum 4 inches, full tang, 90-degree spine, and high carbon steel. If it has those, that's something I can work with. And the thickness, it needs to be a pretty good, decent thickness. I think the smallest I would ever go is probably 2 mil, just to be on the safe side. But it's a very good knife. It's actually pretty heavy. It feels like a good 5-pounder. That's pretty good. And also what comes with this knife that I have, with this sheath, it has a little holder right here. And I've got a knife sharpener, and I've got 2 ferrocerium rods in there. And that's pretty much those knives. Alright, and I'm going to show you guys using the back of the blade. Never ever use your actual blade to strike a ferrocerium rod, because that could chip the edge of your blade, make it dull, etc. You don't want to do that. So, with that being said, I'm going to flip it over. I got a little ferro rod right here. Get it at a better angle. Let's try that. Alrighty. And the way that you would strike a ferro rod is there's 2 ways you can do it. You can push the blade away from you, or you hold it and you basically pull the ferro rod towards you, and you hold the knife stationary. Now the reason why it's better to hold the knife stationary and pull it towards you is because, say right here is my tinder bundle. Well, if you do this, you're going to blow into your tinder bundle, knock your whole fire lay over, etc. But if you pull the ferro rod towards you, you won't have that issue, and you'll have a shower of sparks. Well guys, it's been Dan with Outdoor Survival. Thank you for tuning into my video, and hopefully this will help you guys out. And I just gave my opinion on what I think about knives. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.